Welcome everyone. Welcome everyone. Welcome everyone to another Ref Brandon and the Todd Family YouTube video. Going to do things a little bit different this time. I've got my wife in here with me because I'm doing another top 10 list, and I always write everything down on a board so I don't forget it, and I have to keep looking beside me the entire time. So tonight I've got her in here with me to save me the trouble of having to walk back and forth. This week's top 10 list was another request we had come in. It's top 10 all-time female wrestlers. Before we get into it, make sure you go ahead and like the video, comment, share, and subscribe, and click that bell so that each time a video gets uploaded, you will be notified, because we try to post videos on a daily basis. And also, don't forget, when we get to 500 subscribers, we'll be having a giveaway. We're almost at 450, so maybe we can get to 500 coming up here in the next couple of weeks. But without further ado, we'll go ahead and get into my opinion of the top 10 all-time female wrestlers. And then when I get done, I'll tell you the reason why I left off some of the names that everybody is going to know. Number 10 on my list is Chyna. She would be higher on the list had she wrestled for a longer period of time. But number 10 on my list is Chyna. Number 9 is a lady who still actually wrestles, and that is Natalia. Of course, she's from the Hart family, and she is an amazing, amazing wrestler. So she's number 9 on my list. Number 8 is Victoria. She was around for a long time, and she was actually an incredible wrestler for the late 90s and early part of the 2000s. Number 7 on my list, another lady from that period of time, and that's Lita. She was also an incredible wrestler. Number 6 is Beth Phoenix. Now, Beth Phoenix, just like Chyna, would be higher on my list had she wrestled longer, but of course, she fell in love with Edge. They decided to start a family, and she retired. So she was really only in WWE wrestling for 5 or 6 years, or she would be higher on my list. Before we get into the top 5, I'll recap 10 through 6. 10 was Chyna, 9 Natalia, 8 Victoria, 7 Lita, 6 was the Glamazon Beth Phoenix. And don't forget, next week's top 10 countdown is also by request. It's also wrestling related. It's going to be the top 10 all-time tag teams. Now we'll go ahead and get into the top 5. Number 5 on my list was Trish Stratus. She, in my opinion, was the only female wrestler that was around during the Attitude Era that actually could wrestle. The rest of them were around because they were in pillow fight matches and bra and panty matches and mud wrestling matches, but Trish Stratus could actually wrestle. Number 4 on my list is Alundra Blaze, who left WWF and went to WCW and become Medusa. Of course, she's always known as the lady who left WWF, went to WCW, took the WWF Women's Championship, and threw it off the bridge. But she was actually an amazing, phenomenal wrestler. Whether you want to look at her as Alundra Blaze or Medusa, she was great in both places. Number 3 on my list was Baby Doll. Baby Doll was an incredible wrestler. And the top 2, I'm going old school, and that's Mae Young, and the greatest female wrestler of all time is the fabulous Moolah. It ain't even close. So the top 2 are no longer with us, but they are, in my opinion, the best 2 female wrestlers of all time. Now, I was talking to a guy named Corey. I know the other day when I did my SWA review, I mentioned that I had a fan come named Lee that I had never met until I met him through social media on Facebook. He come to the show Saturday. There was also a couple that came that I've known for years through my job, just never knew their names, Michael and Terry, and they came Saturday night. Today I was talking to a guy named Corey, and Corey I've never met. He lives in Dallas, Texas, huge wrestling fan, and him and I was going back and forth about female wrestlers because he likes a lot of the modern day wrestlers. And I told him I would give him a shout out to let him know that I'm glad he subscribed to the channel all the way out in Dallas, Texas. He's also a new father, so congratulations, Corey, on being a father. But he likes a lot of the modern day women, and I do too. He mentioned Rhea Ripley and Asuka and Becky Lynch and Charlotte. The only one of those that I may even consider putting on the list would be Charlotte. But in my opinion, the rest of them haven't been around long enough to be an all time great. And I say this in every countdown I do, just like when I did the top 10 best all time wrestlers. The only two modern day wrestlers on my list were AJ Styles and Randy Orton, but they've both been around for 20 plus years. In my opinion, you can't be an all time great when you're still pretty new. So if we come back and do this list in 5 years, then there's no doubt that Asuka and Rhea Ripley and Becky Lynch and Charlotte would all be on the list. But to me, they just haven't been around long enough to be considered an all-time great. But I'm so glad that Corey and I could talk about it, and I'm so glad that he has subscribed all the way out in Dallas, Texas. We want to continue to get subscribers all around the world, and that is this week's top 10 list, my opinion, of the top 10 all-time female wrestlers. And like I said, don't forget, next week it'll be top 10 all-time tag teams. A friend of mine from work named James asked me to do that, and I told him absolutely. He's a big fan of tag team wrestling from back in the day, so I told him I would get to it tomorrow. The plan is to review the NASCAR race from Darlington over the weekend, because I still not have gotten to that. But before we get off here today, I want to give you my dad joke of the day. Somebody broke into my house. The only thing they stole was my coffee, my lamp, and my parrot. I don't know how they sleep at night. And that wraps it up for today's Ref Brandon and the Todd family YouTube video. Hopefully y'all are better than my wife. She has not gotten that joke yet. Hopefully y'all have figured it out. Until next time, it's Ref Brandon saying, just like in pro wrestling, life can be over by the count of three. Tell your friends and family how much you love them. Bye.